What's up, guys? It's Human Entity 4 here. I'm coming at you with a long overdue deck profile. This is the main deck that I'm currently using and I've been using for a really long time. It's my Spirit of Perfection deck, a combination of Spirits and Herald of Perfection. The Spirits bounce back the hand, which act for hand fodder for Perfection, because his effect is you can ditch a fairy to basically negate anything except for a counter trap or a summon. So there's a few wombo combos that are really cool with this deck, basically just like intricate combos that allow you to just plus massively. So I'm going to try to show you the two that I have in mind at the end of this video. So I'm just going to try to power through the deck and then be able to show you those combos. So we got the 3 Herald of Perfection. He is our main guy, basically 2800 wall of an ass, and again, ditch a fairy to negate anything except for a summon or a counter trap. This deck is really good. I've been topping all the locals that I've gone to. In fact, I went to a box tournament recently and faced my friend who liked this deck so much that he copied it and won this mat as like a second place prize, but it was a lot of fun. But Spirit of Perfection can definitely keep up with the current meta. It's really good. Because once you get that perfection, you just sit there and ditch everything and have fun. So next, we got our 3 Manju. And Manju he can search the ritual or the monster, so basically just gets you the missing part to get to perfection faster. We run 2 Megami. Megami is our advanced ritual art fodder, or ARA, and basically we run 2, so if you draw 1, you're not 100% screwed. You basically want to never have those in hand. Onto the Spirit Engine. We have 3 Aratama. Aratama is the only non-fairy spirit, and his effect is you can, well, basically he's like a Stratos. Just make it nice and simple for you. Basically built-in Stratos. Really nice. And he's a spirit, so he'll return to the hand. Now, our next main spirit that you're normally going to get with that Stratos effect is Nikitama. Nikitama is basically the heart of this entire deck and the key to making all the engines work. Nikitama is a very interesting effect. When he's normal summon, you can extra normal summon another spirit, normally Aratama, and then you get like a search off it, which is great. And when he goes to the graveyard, when there's another spirit on the field, you get to draw a card, which will come in handy for one of the wombo combos I want to show you later. We run 2 Izanami. Izanami is basically a ditch a card, add a spirit from graveyard back to hand. And because I cut down on certain other spirits, I like Izanami at 2 to help me cycle things like Nikitama, Aratama, or the 2 cards I'm about to show you, which are Yaksha and Rasetsu. Yaksha bounces spells and traps, or Rasetsu bounces monsters, so basically just gets you out of whatever you need, and both are searchable via Aratama's Stratos effect. Next we have 2 gellenduo. Gellenduo is basically like a Spirit Reaper. It basically just sits there and can't die, except it's better because it's fairy, and also it counts as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a light fairy, like our next guy. Tethys, Goddess of Light. Normally you want to summon this with transmodify, but you can tribute it for, you can use gellenduo's effect to tribute it for this, even though it's only 5 stars, just 1 regular tribute. Or Kristya, which is coming up next. But Tethys is really good because when you draw a fairy, you can reveal it and draw again, and like most of the monsters in this deck are fairy, so you can just sit there and keep plussing. And then the aforementioned Kristya, we only run it at 1 because between Lava Ball Chain you can search it, and also it gets a bit dead when you have multiple copies in hand. But Kristya and Perfection out at the same time is pretty much game, and Kristya is just amazing, but she's normally pretty searchable. Now, for some interesting techs, we have 2 Tragodia. I personally, Tragodia is really helpful because you don't really run any back row. So when you're playing your spirits, they bounce back the hand, which basically leaves your field empty. So you get the special summon of Tragodia. Your hand size is always going to be large because of the spirits, and Tragodia can change his level to make exceeding really easy. I know one of the main guys who does Perfection besides me on YouTube, All in the Yo, shout out to him if he's watching this, but he does the deck a bit differently, but I personally like a bit less fairy and a bit more like control, even if it's not necessarily fairy monsters that you can ditch for Herald of Perfection. And the last monster is BLS. BLS is great, as everyone knows. With the 2 Tragodia and 3 Aratama as our 5 darks, BLS is pretty easy to get out almost every game, and BLS puts in work. Onto the spells. We have 2 Advanced Ritual Art. The way we summon our Herald of Perfection, basically send the Megami from deck to graveyard and special summon them. Oop. We have 2 Preparation of Rites, part of another Wombo combo. Preparation of Rites is really good. It says that you can take a ARA in your graveyard and add it to hand, and a Perfection from deck and add it to hand. So pretty much just like Rhoda for your spirit stuff. We have triple Upstart Goblin to make the deck go faster. Always nice. 2 Transmodify to make that Teftis out, because when Teftis is out and you draw a fairy, life's just so good. But there are essentially 8 targets for Transmodify between your 3 Manju, 3 Nikitama, and 2 gellenduo, and Transmodify is good for that. We have 2 Creature Swap. Creature Swap is really good because say your opponent has like a Greffa or a BLS or something that you really just don't want to deal with and would love to have for yourself. So what you do is you normal summon a spirit and then use Creature Swap and take their big monster while they get your tiny little spirit, and then at the end phase the spirit will bounce back to your hand. So it's like you just got a giant beat stick for free. And one of our new additions, 1 Soul Charge. Soul Charge is the balls. We all know it. It's so great. Soul Charge with all type. You should all know what it does by now. But basically, anything that was summoned correctly, I can bring back, such as Perfection or BLS, Kristya, whatever. So I can just pay 1,000 and then bring back Herald of Perfection if I happen to run over earlier in the game. I mean, that's great. Or use it for setting up Exceeds, etc., etc. Soul Charge puts in work. But at 1. I wouldn't run more than that. Especially since we don't know if it's going to get like hit with the ban list or anything. And the last 2 cards of the deck are 2 Royal Decree. Royal Decree is good because we waste so much hand advantage trying to negate things with Perfection. Why have to worry about negating traps? So this way now all you have to do is worry about monster effects and spells with Perfection, because Royal Decree will take care of those traps. On to the extra deck and then to the Wombo combos. Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. I side Cyber Dragons, as everyone who's watched any of my videos knows. Cyber Dragon's like one of my favorite side-ins from all time, so we side him against all the machine decks. We have our basic like core 5 at this point, an Abyss Behuva, or German for Abyss Dweller, Gaga Cowboy, Diamond Direwolf, 101, and Exciton Knight. All these are basically staple in any deck that can make rank 4 at this point in the game. You should all know what they do. Now, 2 Lawful Chain. Lawful Chain is probably the most important Exceed in this extra deck, and that's why we run 2 of him in case anything happens to the first. He is the main part of one of the 2 Wombo combos I'm going to show you. But you guys should know what he does already. Detach a material and either send a card from deck to graveyard or stick a monster on top of your deck. We have 1 Dagusto Emerald for recycling. It's basically just a rank 4 deck, because between Nikitama and Aratama you can basically make whatever you want. We run a Steel Swarm Roach, a new addition to the deck because of decks like Hieratics, and especially since decks are going to be special summoning a lot with Soul Charge, I can just sit there and be like, no, don't special summon your level 5. But Roach is good for that, and I haven't actually made him in a while, even though he's only been here like pretty recently. I think I've made him like once, but I mean, when he puts in work, he puts in work. So for now, he's there to stay. A Crazy Box, because we side Eradicator Epidemic Virus, and also at 3,000 beats under Skill Drain. This is supposed to be a Black Ship of Corn, but a friend is borrowing it at the moment. I just couldn't wait anymore to make this deck profile, because you guys deserve videos. So yeah, everyone knows what Black Ship of Corn does. But it's a nice Gores token. One of my friends actually gave that to me a long time ago in a trade, but I love it. Another new addition, Heartland Draco. Draco's effect is that you can detach and attack directly, which is great because when they have something like BLS, it's like, oh, I can't get over that 3,000 wall, I can just attack you directly for gain for 2,000. Or if they have something set like a Goblin Zombie, I know it's a Goblin Zombie, like, I don't want to punch into that, I'll just go around it. So Heartland Draco is really good for that. He's normally going to die in the next turn, but he puts in work when you need him. And last but not least, Constellar Omega. Omega is hard to get out in this deck because 2 level 4 lights is a pretty situational thing, but when you can, he's good. And he also allows you access to M7. M7 is there for either 2 dead perfections, because I have done that, and it does help out a lot. Or you can make Trag a level 6 or whatever, and also you just ride him on top of Omega if need be. So, that's basically the deck. Thank you guys for watching. And for anyone else who's going to stay tuned in, I'm going to show you the 2 wombo combos right now that I had in mind. The first one is the Teftis, like unlimited draw combo. So let me just pull out the cards I'm going to need for that. Alright. So really, the only cards you need in hand to get this like unlimited draw combo off are a Nikitama, a transmodify, and any other spirit. We're just going to use Aratama because he's perfect for this. So, you normal summon Nikitama. Use the effect to extra normal summon. We're going to pick Aratama. Aratama's effect will get you free Nikitama, which is great, or whatever else you want to search out. Play transmodify on Nikitama and turn it into Teftis. Now, Nikitama's effect is that when it goes to the graveyard while there's another spirit out, you get to draw a card. So, I get to draw a card. Oh, Teftis effect kicks in. Because it's a fairy, you get to reveal it and draw again. Fairy. 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 You get the point. You just sit there and draw because you run so many fairies that you got a decent shot of getting like 2 to 3 cards off of every time you draw because of Teftis' effect, which is great. So that's the one wombo combo. The other wombo combo is also going to involve Nikitama and another spirit, but also involves preparation of rites and that love wall chain we talked about earlier. So, basically the same situation. You normal summon Nikitama. You normal summon Aratama. And you're basically going to go for this combination when you have preparation of rites in hand. But Aratama gets you to search whatever you overlay into love wall chain. Chain's effect, you detach Aratama most likely and send advanced ritual art from your deck to the graveyard. And then you play preparation of rites, because now you get a free advanced ritual art from your graveyard to your hand and a perfection from deck to hand, and then you can go and play perfection. So that's a pretty decent opening field. You'll have level chain and Herald perfection and 4 cards in hand, most likely solid 3 of them being like fairy, because you get the search off Aratama. So that's basically the deck, guys. I hope you enjoy. It's one of my favorite decks, and I personally, it's probably one of the only reasons I'm still into Yu-Gi-Oh! With all the changes that they made. I absolutely love this deck, and it's a lot of fun. It's really good against pretty much any meta with that 2800 defense on perfection, plus decks are always able to change, and there's so many different variants. There's the agent variant, which I played at one point. There's an artifact variant once the artifacts come out because they're all fairy. But hope you guys like the deck. Rate, comment, subscribe, do whatever you guys do, like this, etc., etc. Hope you guys enjoyed, and hopefully I'll be back with a few new videos soon. Humanity 4 signing out.